What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and it is Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023, year of our Lord. Dang, this year seems to be going fast. Everything just seems to be going fast. I don't know what that is. What is it that everything just seems to be going by super duper fast? I don't know what that is. What's up, friends and family? How y'all feel? Y'all feeling good this morning? Y'all ready to cook up? Y'all ready to get it in? Y'all ready to continue to add value? It is a Money Wednesday, and so we got to get into the thick of things, but I absolutely, positively, definitely want to address the news and things that's going around or going on around the country that you may or may not have been familiar with. Shout out to all of my friends and family in the chat. I appreciate you, Junior YK, in the building with the early super chat. Says, AD, how do you deal with execs with fragile egos? You got to suck up. Say, how many black tees does Anton own? About 40. 40 black, 15 white. You got to suck up. A lot of times we think that it's everybody else that has the fragile ego, but in reality, maybe we don't know how to communicate effectively. Maybe we don't know how to communicate effectively. Sometimes we think that being overly aggressive is the way that it's supposed to be, when in reality, we may not know how to communicate. What I found is that you can say anything to anybody if you say it the right way. You can say anything to anybody if you say it the right way. So it's a strong possibility that you need to go back into your bag and figure out how it is that you can make friends, because you don't understand. What I found in that corporate America is that a lot of people think that doing your job correctly is the way in which you're going to become successful, and it's not. It's not. It's making friends, getting people to like you, and then ultimately they think of you when an opportunity presents itself. So it's not about always being right. A lot of times it's being somebody that's easier to work with. You have to focus on being easier to work with. You have to focus. It's not about being right. You got to give more than you take when it comes to corporate America. You have to give more than you take in corporate America. So you have to pacify. You have to show soft skills. You got to be able to talk more appropriately. You have to learn how to be quiet, right? I'm telling you, man, being an executive or getting up into the C-suite is being receptive, is listening to the needs of what everybody else wants, and then you move appropriately. More times than not, I feel like I'm right 99% of the time, especially when it comes to corporate America or having the best interests in mind of what I think that the company, the direction that the company is supposed to be moving in. But I tell you what, I'm definitely not going to express it. I'm not going to give my thoughts. I'm going to say what people need in order to get them over the hump. My job is to give you what you need in order to be successful, not to be right. Remember that in corporate America. Your job is to give people the tools that they need in order to be successful, not be right. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that a lot of times your job is to tell them why they are right while giving them the insight that they need in order to complete whatever it is that you want them to do, and then focus on the fact that you want them to take credit for it because people then recognize it. See, we think that people don't recognize when we got their best interest at heart and that we need to get all of the credit. That's not what it is. What you want to do is make them look good and then let them recognize you as they're working their way up to the top. So it's soft skills, it's making them feel good about themselves, it's pacifying, it's sucking up a little bit. That's just the name of the game. And if you think that it's important for you to be right and for them to acknowledge your wisdom and your understanding and your greatness, you're going to find yourself either perpetually in that position for the rest of your life, never moving up, can't realize why this person that's not as smart as you, not as good as you, don't do as good of a job as you. They continue and go up the corporate ladder while you sitting there in purgatory, or when layoffs come around, you the first one out the door. I'm telling you, the best way for you to be successful in corporate America is to acknowledge people's greatness, focus less on the things that you think that they're doing wrong, and figuring out how it is that you can add value into their life. It's soft skills. It's always soft skills. The minute that you start complaining, the minute that you start having egos and battles and things like that, you are going to find yourself on the outs. You might as well go ahead and look for another job. Real talk. So that's my answer to you. Shout out to you for the early super chat. Let me also acknowledge my dog, Mike, that dude, giving me that early super chat on Cash App. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for continuing to add value into the Millionaire Morning Show. Also want to acknowledge Gone Postal 28. Shout out to you and Trail 5. I also appreciate you. Brian Horsley. I think that you are absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right. Somebody said corporate is overrated. That just means that you ain't made enough money. If you think that corporate is overrated, then that means that you have not gotten to the spaces that you need to get into, because corporate is underrated. As a matter of fact, corporate America is the one space, it's the one place that you can go to where you take less risk and get more rewards. When you got to start a business, you got to invest in it, you got to market it, you got to do everything, you got to wear multiple different hats, you got to manage people and all of that stuff. When you're in corporate America, you get all of the benefits with none of the risk, and you definitely get big bonuses and great equity and phenomenal pay. That just means that y'all not looking at it the right way. Y'all not focused on the things that you really needs to be focused on. You get great benefits, you get dental, you get healthcare coverage, you get life insurance, you get bonuses, equity, base pay. It's the best thing in the world. It's the best deal in the world. Corporate America is the one place where you take less when it comes to risk and more when it comes to rewards. What are you talking about? Why do you think I'm still there? I'm still fighting to leave out of corporate because they give me them golden handcuffs, that golden parachute. 401k matches, they give you all of the benefits. You get all free food. Oh, man, listen, give me corporate all day. If I gotta be a regular person, then give me corporate all day long. I know more people that became millionaires from being in corporate America and just being intentional and managing their money correctly than people that then went out there and started their own business. They selling y'all on this narrative. Meanwhile, people in corporate America is eating. They eating. But anyways, let's continue. Somebody said you have to play politics in companies, butt kissers win. That's not true. It's just that y'all don't know how to communicate effectively, and you think that the way that you talk in your household is right versus the way that you talk to people in corporate America. People are too busy dealing with your shit in real life, and so you think that it's butt kissing for you to actually acknowledge that people may have some skills and it's a reason why they're there in addition to why you there, and you think that you're the only one that's right versus the people that's actually able to do their job correctly. Come on, man. Hey, when we gonna grow up? Are we gonna have this type of conversation today on the Millionaire Morning Show? Are we gonna have this type of conversation today where I gotta check y'all egos at the door? Everybody right. Everybody else is a butt kisser. Nobody else can do anything right but you. It's, oh man, I gotta kiss your butt. No, you just so used to being toxic that you don't know how to acknowledge when somebody else is right, or you don't know how to give credit, or so used to complaining, or you so used to holding people accountable that you don't know how to be able to communicate effectively. It's not butt kissing. It's just being able to communicate more effectively. When y'all gonna grow up? Y'all gonna grow up, or are we gonna have this conversation today? I thought we was gonna get to the money today, but apparently I got to teach y'all how to level up. Y'all in your own way when it comes to your own success. It's crazy. It's crazy. Please don't let me go there. Anyways, again, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also, on top of that, make sure you acknowledge and get that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. If you ain't got that Teach pack, then you're really, really shooting yourself in the foot. All right. On top of that, I want you guys to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Facebook people, what up, though? I got my first Facebook check the other day. Somebody said, nah, Anton, I left the company because they was on that BS. I guarantee you that you was probably the problem. I guarantee you that you the problem. I left corporate because they was on that BS. No, you were supposed to go in there, do your job for what it is that they paying you for. They paying you for your time, and you wanted to go in there and gossip. You wanted to go in there and do some extra. You was doing a lot, and it wasn't necessarily aligning with what it is that the company corporate structure and go. Hey, remember when you first got your job? Remember when you first got in there and you was happy? Remember when you first got hired in and you didn't have shit and you came in and you was grateful and you was 100% humble and you was willing to do anything. You would have did anything in order to be able to get that check. Now they on that BS. They gave you a job. They gave you a shot. They gave you benefits. They paid you every single week or every other week, bi-weekly, and you never missed a check. But now all of a sudden we on our high horse. Now, let me tell you something. Now is not the time for you to start being tough guys. It's a lot of times in society where things is going absolutely awesome, but I'm telling you, repos is up, credit is fucked up out here, housing crisis, y'all over here being arrogant and thinking that somebody owe you something, and you was humble as hell when you first got in there, but now you big dog. You've been there for a while. You don't have any kind of humility. They on that BS. They wasn't on that BS when they hired you and you was begging for a position. When you was interviewing, you was sending out your resume to every single company that you can get your hands on. Now you tough. Now you done made a little bit of money. You done leveled up, and now they can't touch you. They can't afford you. Oh, man, they on that BS. I'm leaving. Come on, fam. Ain't nobody forcing you to be there. Ain't nobody forced you to apply for the job. You came to them. They didn't recruit you. They did not recruit you. You came to them and you said, hey, I will do whatever. You lied on your resume to get in there, and now they on that BS. Now they on that BS. You lied on your resume. You inflated what it is that you can do. They trained you. They put resources into your pocket. They paid for your health care. Your teeth was messed up. You had cavities. They gave you dental. They gave you insurance. And now they on that BS. We so entitled. We got such a bad attitude. Y'all, bad attitudes is the things that's going to prevent you from being successful. Bad attitudes in your household. Bad attitude on your job. You wake up on that BS. You complaining every single time you come into the door to the time that you leave. I'm so tired of y'all complaining. Why do y'all complain so much? You complain about this. You complain about the content creators. You complain about your job. You complain about your girl. You complain about your man. You complain about your kids. You complain about you, your life, everything. Most of the time, you the toxic friend. Most of the time, you are the toxic friend. You are the toxic employee. You the person that don't actually fit into the culture. Every single job y'all leave is somebody else's fault. You got to go and find another position before you get fired. You came in late. You woke up late. You can't get things right. You're not on top of things. You're not about your business. What is wrong with us? At what point do we go back into our prayer closet and we say, hey, maybe it was me. Maybe I messed up. Maybe I'm running in the Victim Olympics. Maybe I went out there and I bought the wrong thing. Maybe I invested in the wrong thing. Maybe I lied on my resume. Maybe I wasn't good enough for the job. Maybe I didn't meet the requirements even though they explained to me exactly what it was before I got there. Stop complaining. We are grown men and women. If you do not like it, then go and leave, but do not complain on your way out the door while you're still getting your last and final paycheck and they did not skip out on it. Stop it. Stop complaining. Stop whining. Stop complaining. Grow up. Grow up. But you don't think that everybody else is going through the same thing? You think you're the only person that got a problem? Come on, man. 99% of the stuff that we go through is self-inflicted. You're never going to level up until you humble yourself and you realize that you're the problem. I guarantee you, no matter what job you go to, no matter what state you move to, no matter what neighborhood you go into, no matter what chick you deal with, you are still going to take you with you. You are still going to take you with you. No matter where you go. You can go from here all the way over to Thailand and become a passport bro, but you are still going to take you with you. Nobody is going to fix you. It is going to be 100% you. All right? Come on, man. Let's keep the main thing the main thing. Let me acknowledge a couple more super chats and then we're going to get into the show. Mr. Maximus says, coming to the front, I cheated to get my cert. Done. Jesus Christ. What up, what up, what up? Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. I don't want to go into another Teach Hanley commercial right away. Jake Fever says, man, I'm here for the Teach commercials, bro. Run it. Do I got to run a Teach commercial because the likes is low? Come on, family. What we doing? Latrell says, keep the main thing the main thing. Shout out to Latrell. I appreciate you for the fireball. Thank you, my friend. Let's get into the show. New York. It's a migrant crisis over in New York. What the hell is happening? Why are y'all not holding this guy accountable? And why is he begging for more money?
This is a sign of a crisis, greatest, I believe, humanitarian crisis this city has ever witnessed. I'm on the ground. I'm not detached from this. I walk through surprise visits to see the quality of service.
How often?
Very often. Very often. I can give you once a week.
What specifically can you do to address that issue of migrants not being able to work?
We're going to do the duality of calling for, rightfully, the resources for the city. Even something simple as calling a state of emergency. If the president does that, it allows us to get resources.
Well, that was New York City Mayor Eric Adams defending his handling of the city's migrant crisis while calling for President Biden, again, to declare a state of emergency. A new Siena College poll finds 82% of New Yorkers say the migrant influx is a serious problem. Only 16% say it's not a serious problem. Get this, 58% say the state has done enough and should work to slow the flow of migrants. 36% want to accept more.
Let me ask y'all a question. Was President Trump right? I'm not saying that he was. I'm not saying that he wasn't. Was Trump, when he was president, correct in assessing the fact that we needed to do more to close off our borders? We had needed to have stricter controls over who gets into the country. Or, and I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly, or is it okay for us to sing Kumbaya and let everybody in to be able to be politically correct? Honestly, just questioning. Is DeSantis correct for busing migrants over into the states where people are saying it's cool? Or should we have done more to close off our borders and enforce the laws that's actually on the books as far as what it is that we should have done as far as the migrant crisis? Because that's just people that's getting into that in here that we can document. It's a lot of people that's coming in here as illegal immigrants. Let's continue.
Look at those numbers. Joining me now, New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. She's a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and the House Republican Conference Assistant Whip. Congresswoman, your reaction?
Well, obviously, it's very frustrating because the mayor is not demanding, and our governor is not demanding, that the president secure our border. Instead, they're asking the federal government for more resources so they can open up more shelters. The mayor, from the very beginning, has misinterpreted New York City's right to shelter law, which was intended for homeless citizens. It was never intended for citizens of other countries who just crossed our border. And so by his interpretation, you know, there has been 7.5 million people. If they all came to New York City, where we have a population of 8.5 million, New York City taxpayers would be responsible for paying for their housing, legal services, Metro cards, and food, etc.
Did you hear that? You're the one that pay for it. See, a lot of people think that the government is then responsible for whatever it is that happens, whether it's in the United States of America or it's within your city. The reality is this: the government is merely a representation of the people. So when you get your paycheck, I know a lot of us got direct deposit. You know what one of the beautiful things about direct deposit was for the federal government and for the entities that were taxing you? You know what one of the beautiful things is? When you used to get an actual paycheck and you didn't have direct deposit, a lot of this predates you. But when you used to get an actual paycheck and not direct deposit, people were more intentional because they had to look at their check stub in order to realize how much of it was coming out. But when they start doing direct deposits and they start doing e-checks, right, or e-check stubs, so basically you would go onto the company website or wherever it is, and you would download your paycheck check stub if you ever wanted to, or you would go in there and do your declarations as far as how many dependents that you have. Or you would go in there and say, okay, well, this is what I want to go on one place and this is what I want to go into the other bank account. You largely overlook it. And so it's easier for us to then say, hey, this is how much I make because this is how much goes into my bank account. And so you align your budget accordingly. But when you used to get a pay stub, it used to be a reality check because every time I opened up that check, I had to see how much was coming out. I had to see what my gross was, and then I had to see how much was going to FICA, and then federal, and then state, or whatever, so on and so forth. And so it was an egregious offense to most people that would look at their paycheck, see how much was coming out, and then see how much you was going home with. It was disappointing. So you became more intentional with how it is that you manage your money. But now we don't pay attention to it because the overwhelming majority of people just get direct deposit and they overlook it. And so they've been desensitized to the idea of how much comes out of their check versus how much they've actually made. And you are the ones that are on the hook financially for making sure that these people come in. So when I see people say, well, we shouldn't close off our borders, or we shouldn't do that, or we shouldn't do this, what they're really saying is that I want to volunteer to be a contributing factor to whatever it is that we got going on within America or within our society as far as paying for these people to then be housed, clothed, food, shelter, transportation, so on and so forth. So when you see these people coming into your state, you then become responsible, or they take resources away from what it was as meaningful to you in order to make sure that they're taken care of. Their goal is to say, send me more money, tax more people, give us more money in order to continue to house, clothe, food, shelter, or whatever, instead of saying, how do we solve the core root of the problem?
All these things that citizens themselves don't get. So it's really ludicrous. And so two things. One, he should be demanding the president to secure the border. Let's stop this. Undo his executive orders today. And that would really resolve this problem. And number two, the mayor needs to stop misinterpreting this right to shelter and put an end to all this housing. This come to a point where he's looking at every single park, open space, empty buildings that are supposed to be right now transitioned into schools in my district are now being turned into shelters instead. And I'm in a community of Staten Island where we did not support this mayor's agenda. We did not support the governor or the president's agenda, and yet we're being subjected to their policies because we are part of New York City, and that is increasingly frustrating for this community.
Well, Congresswoman.
So if we really want to break this down, right? If we really, really want to break this down, then that means that you are okay with money coming out of your paycheck. Because remember, all of these empty buildings, all of these cracks and crevices where they finding resources, they looking for dollars where dollars was no longer available or wasn't available to the general public. But now they have it available in order to make sure that they service a need. And then they go into the federal government and they go into Biden and they say, we need more money just for us to continue to take care. Meanwhile, over in Hawaii, they can't find a resource to save their life in order to help them when they supposed to be a part of the United States, right? Over in Hawaii, everything is dead. Everything is burned down. They just letting capitalism run rampant and the government plays no role in protecting the citizens from what it is that they see happening or what it is that they can predict is going to happen anyway. And NY, they saying, listen, we got 8.5 million people here. We probably got another 7 million coming in as far as migrants into this country. And let's be clear, immigration isn't bad. Immigration isn't bad if you go through the process and you follow the law. Migrants, illegal immigration, just opening up the borders for anybody to be able to flow in is bad. And that's the difference.
Construction already underway on that tent city on the grounds of the Creedmoor Psychiatric Center. All of this as buses filled with asylum seekers continue to arrive at Port Authority like this one did just a short while ago. That's where Kendall Green is live tonight to say members of the community are unhappy. In this case in particular, I guess would be an understatement, right, Kendall?
Hey, good evening, Steve and Natasha. The city is overwhelmed with the migrant crisis, but as the city aims to put an immigration shelter right there, residents tell us that they're overwhelmed by the idea of it. Just moments ago, this place was packed with hundreds of protesters, thousands even, pushing back. Every day, the city heats another degree toward its boiling point as tempers flare in Queens Village surrounding Mayor Adams' latest move to house migrants in the tent city. Tuesday's rally drew thousands to the construction site of a migrant tent city on the site of the state-run Creedmoor Psychiatric Center. Where
Reading that super chat shortly, I appreciate you.
just on the other side of the chain-link fence, youth baseball teams were having a baseball game, adding fuel to demonstrators' frustrations.
This whole thing is only going to snowball because the schools are going to open in about 2 weeks. All right, and we're totally unprepared to handle that.
You look behind us, there's a park, there's a YMCA there, we have a charter school behind us, a preschool on the side.
There's concern for students as well as the elderly.
We have a SNAP Center here. SNAP Center gets funded by how many people they serve. The senior citizens are going to be intimidated and afraid of the individuals.
Signs read, Americans over migrants. House our vets in No Tent City at Creedmoor, among hundreds of others. As time went by, the protests grew louder and louder. Why are you here?
I'm here because this is outrageous. They are putting non-American before American.
Boy, it ain't nothing like people coming together for one cause. You can be black, white, Asian, whatever. People don't care, and this is what I found. People don't care until it's on their doorstep. They vote for it. They advocate for it. By not voting for it, they enable it. They continue to participate in it. All of these conversations, listen, these are conversations that you should have had when you decided on who it was going to be your mayor, who was going to be your president, who it was going to be your city council members, who it was going to be your treasurer. Remember when we was all distracted by what was going on during the pandemic? What people was protesting about worldwide when we wasn't really paying attention to what was going to happen within our own communities? Now we want to be concerned. Now we want to be reactive. Now we want to start having a conversation about who stands on what and why borders should be closed. When I remember when I seen the results They said overwhelmingly that these people won. So I don't really understand why there's protests, especially when local elections historically has had low voter turnout. Why is there concern within your community about what your resources is going into in the tent cities that's not being built within your environment when this is the thing that you advocated for? New York City and all of its boroughs has always historically been blue. Always historically been blue. I don't know why these people are not volunteering to help build the tent cities. Why are they not out there continuing to advocate for more people to come in and then they can house them and then they can get a part of the stimulus, what the mayor was advocating for as far as paying people to have migrants that they've never even seen before lay in their houses right next to their children. I don't understand what the problem is. New York has always been blue. What is the problem? Why are y'all begging? How come y'all can't manage what your budget was when you knew that this was a part of what it is that you signed up for in the first place? What is the problem? Now you want to come out with the signs. Now you want to have this guy over here standing next to you. Look at this. White, Asian hate crime bill just went on out the window, and now we make sure that we advocating for Americans over migrants. This is what you signed up for. What's the problem?
We need to take care of America first.
Protesters made their way across the street to where construction has already begun for the tent city to house 1,000 single male migrants.
It's a Washington issue. We can't deal with this in all the boroughs.
Say it loud, say it clear. Yet on the other side of that protest, a smaller group with a different point of view, also getting their message across.
Really sad to see us blaming vulnerable people who have risked their lives for a better future.
I agree, ma'am. I agree. Matter of fact, let me switch over. I did not intentionally wear a red hat because I was standing on the conservative side. I'm going blue today. I'm going blue today because this is what you guys signed up for. Don't start complaining about it now. This is a part of what you wanted. It's very sad for these people that risk their lives to come across the border and across the water for a better life, and you're not being receptive to that. This is what you signed up for. Own it. Own it. Own it.
For their situation, as opposed to holding accountable people in power.
Now, a spokesperson with City Hall says they're well aware of what's going on and sent us this statement in part saying, quote, "We in the state are working to ensure that the site is well managed and that any potential disruptions are minimized. While New York City is leading the nation in welcoming asylum seekers, make no mistake, we cannot continue to do this alone. This crisis."
Oh, now they want your help. Now they want your help. Don't worry. Listen, this is what we're going to do. Before we read some of the super chats, I just want to let you know that I am in support of what New York City and their mayor and President Biden is doing. Because let's be clear, this is what you guys voted for. The government is simply a representation of its people. Its people in a democracy are the ones that choose their leadership. You chose your leader. It's almost like letting a child choose their parent, letting a child choose their parent, and then getting mad at the parent that's governing the child in their household. The parent told you that they was going to have a foster care system and that they was going to start having other kids come into the room with you. Now you're going to have a bunk bed. Now you got to share your room with other kids. Don't start getting mad at the parent now. You chose them. You chose your parent. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to get into the show because I got a full show today for y'all. Shout out to Brock. Brock is in the building. Says, you said it. E.T. said it best. You complain and shut up. You are not where you're supposed to be because you haven't checked yourself. Shout out to E.T. and also shout out to Brock. Also, let me give a shout out to I Know Mad Music. I appreciate you for the one ball. Thank you, my friend. Post the Mogul says, why can't you do both? Both what? Open up your borders and manage the people? You can't have both. You know, God said you either got to be on the left or the right. You either got to be hot or you got to be cold. You can't be in the middle. He spit you out of his mouth. It's the people in the middle that get ran over. When cars is coming down the road, either you're going to be on that part of the sidewalk or this part of the sidewalk. You can't have both. You can't have people that stand on having open borders, or maybe you saying close the borders and let migrants in. Then why would you close off the borders and then have people do it legally? You can't have people doing things illegally or opening themselves up to a floodgate of things that you don't actually advocate for and then complain about it on the other side. Either you got to be left or you got to be right. You got to be hot or you got to be cold. You can't be both. You cannot be both. Some things should not be acknowledged, and some things it's almost like, what part of your life are you both? What part of your life are you both? Let's talk about it, right? This is why our nation and our country and even our households is absolutely in shambles. Absolutely in shambles, right? I believe either you're married or you're single. I don't believe there's any in between, because when you start shacking up, when you start making things complicated, when you open up your relationship to other people, then that's when you start to have the problems. When you keep the main thing, and you understand the priority and the focus of why we got together in the first place, you can then become successful. But the minute that you start adding other things and other people into your relationship and start modifying it according to whatever it is that everybody else has got going on, that's when you start to find yourself at a crossroads, and then you don't even want to be in a relationship anymore because it's something different than what you signed up for in the first place. Viper J says Trump was right. Shout out to Viper J. I appreciate you for the 2-ball. The Carolinas DJ Smooth is in the building. Shout out to DJ Smooth. I appreciate you. Says successful investment over a lifetime does not require a high IQ. That's a fact. What's needed is an intellectual framework and the ability to be able to keep emotions from corroding that framework. Thanks for suggesting The Intelligent Investor. Yes, that is a phenomenal book. Thank you. The Carolinas DJ Smooth is in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. Millennial Galore. Shout out to Millennial Galore. Says, I am an NY. My pay stub shows we paying, not the government. Facts. And you paying them to then beg from the government in order to pay more money. Y'all got to remember, y'all pay the mayor's salary, you pay the president's salary, you pay for all of this. You pay for them to be able to fly back and forth. You pay for their car. You pay for their credit card. You pay for them even appearing on TV. They used your money in order to get there. Fahim Jackson says the people are not happy. The people not happy are not reflective of the people who voted the mayor in. The big taxpayers are the protesters. They care about their community. I beg to differ. I think that they participated in it. Is no data to say that the people that are protesting did not vote in the person that they protesting against. Jason Lee says, nah, New Yorkers voted for this. Now they gonna get this work. That's a fact. Smiling Buddha is in the building, says, there goes black reparations. Hilarious. What the? Shout out to you. Also, let me give an acknowledge to Jake Fever, says, AD, pause the show. I got to run to the bathroom, bruh. Go ahead and take your phone in the bathroom with you, Jake Fever. We're not going to pause the show. We're going to keep it rolling. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. If you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. The Bag Chasers link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, we got Oakland. We got Oakland moving in a completely different direction. Let's talk about it.
Bruce Vong is the owner of nearly a dozen different businesses in Oakland. He says each of them are robbed nearly every week, including Quality Tech Automotive Shop at the corner of 16th and International.
Can you imagine being a business owner? Can you imagine being a business owner and each one of your businesses is robbed nearly every week? Think about this for a minute. You are a business owner and each one of your businesses are robbed nearly every week. And there is nothing that anybody is going to do about it. They're going to say, hey, whatever it is that happens to you is just a part of what it is. Do you guys know that the government literally creates problems to be able to solve it for themselves so that they can continue to stay in office and get you to vote or spend your money a specific way? Did you know that the government creates problems that they then can force you to vote on them so that they can go in and solve the problem that they created so that they can get you to vote and spend money a specific way. All of this is manufactured. Nobody cares about business. Nobody cares about small business. Everything is based off of how it is that they can get you to do things a specific way. Owning a business, multiple different businesses, and nearly all of them are getting robbed almost once a week is crazy, fam.
Just ridiculous. Oakland is no longer Oakland anymore. Oakland has become a war zone.
A battleground just to do his own job. Last Thursday, he helped his employees pick up stranded AAA drivers. Within seconds, his tow truck was gone.
The person jumped in the tow truck and took off with our tow truck. Once they get in a tow truck, it destroy our camera system.
During the course of this interview, he says he saw one of the men walk by.
That's another one you need to deal with. Yeah. Breaking every car, breaking every window.
It's crazy to see the person that robbed you walking past your business like ain't even nothing tripping. It's crazy to see the people robbing your businesses on a regular basis walking by and you can't even do nothing about it. And if you do something about it, you're going to be the one to go to jail for it. This is insane. What's going on, fam? Thank you. I appreciate you.
Guy just walked by? Yeah. It's just terrible. We tried to give him help. We tried everything for him.
Vong says the suspect destroyed the tracking system, but his phone was still inside, so he was able to track its location and chased him down.
I had to chase him for at least 45 minutes from West Oakland to East Oakland to...
You know what's so funny, though? They have no crime in Tokyo. They have no crime in Tokyo. I didn't understand it. I couldn't figure it out. The people was self-reliant and self-responsible. The waiter at my hotel, he said, "Man, I left my phone." He was a black guy, the guy that was waiting on us at the hotel. He said, "Man, I left my phone on the train multiple different times, and the people actually went out of their way to bring it back to me, or they went and took it over to the police station, and I was able to get my phone back 2 times." He says the biggest problem that we have in Tokyo is that the people may be too nice, and that allows for you to be too relaxed and not really being mindful of the stuff that you're taking with you. They pick up their own. I seen a guy, honestly, and something must have dropped out of his pocket and fell on the ground. And I seen another person run up and grab it and then hurry up and gave it to him. They ran up, grabbed it, and hurry up and gave it to him. They self-police. They hold each other accountable. They are very, very careful about keeping their trash with them. Did you know that there's no public trash cans in Tokyo? There are no public trash cans. You know how you have the little thing on the street where you can walk by and throw the trash in it or whatever, but people still don't do it, but they throw it on the ground? There are no public trash cans in Tokyo. When you leave out of your hotel or you leave out of your house, you're very careful about the thing that you take with you because you know that it's not going to be no trash cans available. You're largely expected to keep your trash with you even either to when you get home or when you can finally get to somewhere where you see a trash can. There are no public trash cans, but at the same time, it's no trash on the streets. There's no trash on the streets. The police officers walk around with batons. They don't even have guns. They don't even have police stations. They're just little cubbies that's on the street. It's like a little temporary thing that's on a corner and it'd be a police station and the police be like, whatever. Or they hurry up and stand in the way in order to be able to make sure that all of the people get by. The people don't cross the street unless the light changes, even if the coast is clear. They don't just randomly walk across the street. You have to get the sign and the light. And if you don't want to do it, everybody be like, and then you start feeling stupid and you walk back so that you're not the one that look like the oddball. And you stand there until the light turn green and then you start to walk across the street. What the fuck happened to America?
Berkeley come back. We finally stopped him at Telegraph and 30th to get a tow truck back, but the tow truck got so much damage to it.
Vong says he tried calling OPD, but they couldn't respond, so CHP had to show up.
But the reality, not only do I need a new police chief, I need more officers on the street.
Everybody closed at 3 o'clock now. It's like a ghost town.
OPD.
Everybody closed at 3 o'clock because it's like vampires that's going to come out and hunt for everybody, because once the street lights come on and once the dark times start coming out, you know that criminal element is. So it's like the purge. It's literally like the purge. Once the street light come on, you know, I see people in the chat, they say, well, you know, it's gangs over in Japan. Have y'all been there? Or are y'all just reading it? Because, see, I could talk about it now that I didn't been there. I could say, well, listen, I was walking around here and I went into this neighborhood and I didn't witness this. I didn't witness that. I didn't see one crime. I didn't see one person throw their trash out on the street. Y'all just talking based off of conjecture. You assuming. You don't know nothing about Japan. It's a lot of people assume a lot of things about a lot of places that they ain't never been to. Unless you've been to Japan, unless you've been to Tokyo, then you can't speak on what the culture is because you've never experienced it. You've never seen it for yourself. Well, crime exists. Where? It's amongst the lowest crime in the world over in Tokyo.
Confirmed to the I-Team, just this past weekend alone, there were 15 different robberies colored in orange on this map, and 2 carjackings colored in red across the city. To put that in perspective, there's been a 27% increase in robberies year to date from 2022 to 2023, and a 19% increase in carjackings so far this year. Like this silver Mercedes-Benz SUV stolen off the dealership lot in Oakland and dumped in Alameda on Friday.
Look at this. How you take the headlights? How you take the headlights, fam?
Another auto body shop, you walk down the block, there's like 3 or 4 more that have been impacted.
Look at that. That looks like a third world country. That looks like a third world country.
Left Oakland.
I myself might think about leaving Oakland and relocate somewhere else because
Run.
the city have no law.
Michelle Sitt, the assistant principal for Achieve Academy in Oakland, has contemplated the same just last week.
I came out of work at around 5 p.m. and I had all my dirty coffee cups and I go to where my car was and it's gone. Unfortunately, it was stolen.
Now, the next day, Michelle witnessed another robbery right outside the school, in the school zone. This is why communities across the city want more police patrolling Oakland. And we tried speaking with OPD today to get some answers on that, but they told us they were unavailable. Dan.
Of course they're unavailable. They're just as unavailable as the voters when they go to the polls to actually advocate for the thing that they want within their own communities. This is what you signed up for. This is what you get. This is what you voted for. This is where your tax dollars are going. It is going to free the criminals instead of policing and making sure that things are safe on the street. You know what I've noticed? That there will be no fixing of our communities, because even in my own chat, the people that actually come here and get the game every day, they're always going to take the opposite side of what is right. If I say, well, robberies are rampant in this part of the country and people need to start standing up for themselves and we need to change the laws to allow people to defend themselves and to defend their properties so that people not running into their properties and taking their lives, y'all gonna say, well, at least they not taking as many lives over there as they is over here. If I say, well, criminals shouldn't steal cars, they're gonna say, well, but they should make more cars available for free for the general public. If I say, well, people should raise their kids to be right and stop leaving the household so that they can actually see what a strong individual is, there's going to be people that buck against it and say, no, it's the government's responsibility to make sure that your kids are safe and doing the things that they're supposed to do. There's always going to be people that advocate for the worst of society, but then frame it as though they're actually advocating for good, as though anything good is coming from this situation that we see playing out in all of these cities across the board. I went from New York all the way to Oakland, and y'all still justifying this bad behavior. How? Why? When? Where? I bet you won't advocate for it in your neighborhood. I'll bet you won't advocate for it right in your own country, in your own, in the house next door to you. I don't understand how y'all justify it. How do you justify it? How? How? Don't worry about it. We're going to get to it. I'm going to read Super Chats shortly. But before I get into the Super Chats, right, let's pivot for a minute. Because now Asians are being targeted. Asians are literally being targeted in Oak Cliff. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? Okay, no worries.
This is one of the home invasions listed in police
Look at that little Asian. That little Asian right there. That small little man or woman looks like a woman moving their feet super fast, trying to get out of the house, trying to get away from the robbers, trying to get away from somebody that broke into their home, is moving their feet so fast down that step. So fast down that step. And you got these melanin people that are chasing them down and running into their own house in order to rob them. Look how fast those little feet are moving. Look, check it out.
This is one of the home invasions listed in police documents obtained by the I-Team. Monday of this week, an 80-year-old man and a 69-year-old wife are caring for their 2 grandchildren when robbers break in a second-floor window.
An 80-year-old man and a 69-year-old woman caring for their grandchildren, and robbers are running into their crib to come and take advantage of them.
One man was downstairs with my parents, keeping an eye on them, while the other one was upstairs trying to get into our safe, ransacking, our closet, our bedrooms, looking for valuables.
The men held the couple at gunpoint for nearly 40 minutes, a terrifying ordeal, their daughter tells me.
During this time, my mom was trying to rush them out of the house by saying, hey, someone's going to be home soon. My son-in-law is going to be home from work soon, so we need to hurry up and get what you need. She offered them cash and say, hey, if what you're looking for is cash, here's cash, but just take it. Please don't hurt any of us.
The criminals got away with $10,000 in cash and jewelry. The family has had 3 other attempted home invasions, and with each one, they take a new security precaution. The fence, the cameras, the dog, a German Shepherd now 11 years old. He didn't stop the criminals this week.
What's his name?
His name is Felix.
Felix, you got to do your job.
They not worried about your dog. They are not worried about your dog, fam. Felix ain't stopping nothing and nobody. As a matter of fact, they probably was holding Felix and they probably was rubbing him on the head after a minute. They not tripping about your dog at all. At all. These dudes are looking for a lick. They know that you there. They know ain't nobody coming to save you. They know it ain't no police around. They know that y'all also gonna advocate for them to get out of jail, that your mama gonna put up her house in order to get you out, and everybody gonna have a free Ray Ray t-shirt on in order to make sure that you're taken care of. I'm gonna read Super Chat shortly. Check it out.
Pal.
Officials here at the Oakland Police Department will not provide anybody to talk on camera about these issues, saying they're part of an ongoing investigation. But privately, sources tell me they are upset about this crime spree continuing and they want the story told.
The sources gave me a copy of an internal advisory that says OPD has series of approximately 50 212.5 or first-degree robberies targeting Asian homes, mostly elderly couples in.
This is crazy. This is insane. Now you can't use the excuse and say, well, most crime or all crime is now being perpetuated based off of proximity, because everybody got cars now. We got cars, we got buses, we got Ubers, we got Lyfts, and people are literally going out of their way to target a specific demographic that they think has money. They come into your neighborhood. They come into their neighborhood. They're not paying attention to your dog. I see people in the chat right now saying, well, they need to get a guard dog. No, people need to stop stealing. They need to stop running into property that's not theirs. What are we talking about? Why do we keep putting all of the responsibility on the person that's the victim? How did we get to the point in society to where we place the overwhelming responsibility on the victim and not on the perpetrator of the crime. How did this become an issue for the victim? What matrix am I living in to where we're holding the victim as accountable for getting robbed?
Oakland Hills area. I also have seen internal police memos detailing each of the incidents that investigators say appear to be connected, committed by the same small group of criminals. This cinematographer had his front door pushed in 2 weeks ago, just before 4 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it was very loud. It was like an explosion. We thought, I don't know, something crazy happened or on the street, but it was coming from inside the house.
Tony tells me one of the robbers chased him up the stairs with a knife, and he barricaded the bedroom door while his wife called 911.
We were just terrified. We were just screaming at the top of our lungs, hoping someone would hear us.
The police arrived within minutes, but the criminals got away with $40,000 in camera gear. I told Tony about the police alert that criminals are targeting homes owned by Asian families.
With Asian hate crimes and everything, it was already hard to exist as an Asian in this community, and now it sounds even.
And let me help you to understand something. Just so you know that this is not based off of race. This is based off of the idea that we have criminals in our society. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. We have criminals in our society that we're really not addressing the core problem and the core issues of why we in this situation in the first place. And we need to get tougher. We need to get harder on crime. We need to start being a lot more vigilant. And I would even go as far as to say, make sure that your family, your wife, your daughters, your sons, yourself are trained and are legal carriers of firearms at this point. I hate to say it because I absolutely despise guns. I do not like them. I don't, man, because I grew up in an environment where I had to see too much of it. Growing up in the inner city of Detroit, I had to see too much of it. Nobody want to see that. That's the whole idea behind why it is that you was looking to get out of the hood in the first place. You were looking to get out of the hood in the first place because you wanted to get away from having to hear the sirens all night long or having to hear gunshots at night. You just sleeping through it because now that's your norm. We want to get away from that nonsense. Don't nobody want to be a part of it, but now it doesn't matter where you live anymore. You can live as far as you want to live. People are now going out of their way to research and target those that got their guard down. Those that have their guard down. I know some of you may be fan of guns. I see somebody says I like guns a lot. I'm not necessarily a fan of it because I've always wanted to live in a peaceful environment where I never needed one, but don't think for 1 second that I am not strapped 100% of the times. I'm strapped. My chick got a CPL, a concealed pistols license. Everywhere. Just because I don't have any choice based off of what it is that I'm seeing happening right now in society.
A burglary attempt at a Dallas apartment ended with a violent shootout.
Letting everything
Before the
go.
gunfire, doorbell cameras captured one of the gunmen pretending to be a maintenance worker. When he thought no one was home, he and an accomplice tried to kick in the door. Then they found out quickly someone was inside with a gun ready to fight back. Fox 4's Amelia Jones is at Dallas.
This is called, excuse my French because I'm trying to make this program a little bit cleaner. This is called fuck around and find out. This is called fuck around and find out. They walking around, they pretending like they the maintenance men. Y'all need to stop letting the people in the building start stereotyping more effectively. Fuck around and find out. Letting everything go. Letting the whole clip go.
Dallas Police Headquarters tonight with the latest on this shootout investigation. Amelia.
Steve, that man who fought back, his name is Ethan Rodriguez, and he told me today that in that moment, he feared for his life. He told us that he...
You see what happens now all of a sudden? Now all of a sudden you start getting some act right. Now all of a sudden you start getting some act right.
He has no connection to the man who posed as that maintenance worker, and he believes that this was a crime of opportunity. Saturday, August 19th, around 6 p.m.
Look, they don't even, look, check this out. Y'all know that every place practically got a camera in there, a Ring camera, a cell phone or something. They so brazen that they not even covering they face no more. They're not, let me tell you what the problem is. And it's only one problem with this situation, in my opinion. It's only one problem with this situation, in my opinion, respectfully, is that they live to tell the tale. It's only one problem, is that they're going to get 3 hots in a cot while they was out there and ready to really be able to take all your stuff and take your life. That's the one problem with this situation, is that this dude right here in the camera wind up getting arrested instead of catching one.
A man who claims to be a maintenance worker shows up outside an apartment door at a complex off of Gannon Lane in Oak Cliff.
Oh, yes, they came to check your air filters.
Ethan Rodriguez talks to the man through.
It's literally a camera. They got the Ring camera right there. It's a Ring camera right there. If you bold enough to be able to do it while you know you on camera and you're not even masked up, that means you a whole nother type of dude. You a whole nother type of monster.
His doorbell camera.
No one came to check the air apartment. No. Yeah, we're checking the air filters.
Rodriguez tells him no one is home and to come back another day.
Oh, much appreciated.
A few minutes later, the man comes back, this time with a friend, and they're armed. Little did they know.
And they had the heater. And they got a heater in their hand. They got the pistol. They right around other apartments. And so they looking to finesse you. He got the heater in his hand. And they got the homie that's standing right around the corner. Don't answer the door for nobody.
No, Rodriguez is home and had been on his phone talking to them through his doorbell camera.
So I hurry up and check the camera to see who's all.
Good job, Ethan. Good job. Ethan wasn't fucking around. Y'all keep underestimating these people. Y'all keep underestimating these people. Ethan said, all right, I got you. I got you. Ethan was letting them go, and he almost hit him too.
At the door, and I saw him kicking the door with a firearm and fearing for mine and my brother's life. I just let the gun go. I didn't know what to do.
Dallas police say Rodriguez fired 13 rounds, and the suspects fired back twice. No one was injured. According to the arrest affidavit, the video posted and circulated on social media led to Crime Stoppers tips that identified the suspect posing.
There he is. Anybody with a neck tattoo, be very, very, very careful. Anybody that got a neck tattoo and a number on it, be very, very, very careful. This man needs to be locked up for the and the dude shot back and had the nerve to shoot back. No, take your L. Take your L. This is the face of who it is that we're dealing with in society, that our government, including California, is advocating for it to be free. No bail system. Get out free. Don't defend yourself. Let them walk around, do what it is that they want to do to people. Go and break in people's cribs. I'm trying to understand who his homie was. Snitch. I need him to snitch. Anton, we shouldn't be snitching. No, we don't want that other dude, the other guy that was with the red shirt on the street. I need everybody. I want all of the information. I want everybody locked up. These are the type of people and the criminals that is trying to kick in your door so that they can come in and do whatever it is that they want to inside of your spaces.
Seen as the maintenance worker as 30-year-old Aaron Contreras.
This was basically just a random attack. We couldn't have expected any of this. No, he's not linked to anybody in my family or anybody that we know.
2 days later, on Monday, police arrested Contreras.
He let everything go. He said, we'll fix the door later. We'll fix the door later. Let everything go. Let the whole clip, all 13 of them out. Let everything go.
Contreras and charged him with aggravated assault, deadly conduct, and attempted burglary. Dallas County Sheriff's Office records show Contreras' criminal history dates back to 2013.
This dude has been out here in these streets messing up everything since 2013. For the last 10 years, he's been out here in these streets terrorizing people. That's just the time that we was able to catch him. This is the time that we was able to catch him because we got cameras and stuff now. These dudes been terrorizing your community. What you think, that this is the first place that he broke into? You think that this is the first finesse that he ever did? It's not. This is not the first finesse that he's ever did. This is not the first time. You know what's so funny? Most of the time we have conversations about why people shouldn't be convicted or whatever. The other part of the time, we really not even taking into account how many times that they done got away with the stuff that they done did. When you talk about a woman that, for example, that's got assaulted, and let's say that the boyfriend or whatever get arrested or whatever for assault, you think that that's the first time that he never put his hands on her? It's not. By the time somebody then got caught, it's a strong possibility that they've already been doing this for a long time, and it don't matter what crime it is. Whether you stealing cars, whether you putting your hands on people, whether you trying to break into a crib, whether you assaulting people in their crib, whether these people is doing stealing and theft and they finally get caught inside of this. This is not the first time that they done ever did it. This is the first time that they done ever been caught.
The records show he's been arrested and charged with robbery and burglary.
I told you. I never even seen this video before. Check it out. Let me show you what they gonna say.
Contreras' criminal history dates back to 2013. The records show he's been arrested and charged with robbery and burglary several times before.
So why is he on the street? If he's been arrested for robbery, that means he probably had a pistol and he probably got somebody's stuff up out of him under duress. And burglary, meaning that he was in somebody else's house and home, without permission, taking things that he wasn't supposed to be doing it. How is this man being still on the street? How is he still on the street? How is this guy still on the street? And this is not his first time. You know what he's doing? He's trying to master his craft. He's putting in his 10,000 hours. He's figuring out a more effective way to do it. That's why he walked in and he said, hey, we got to check the air filters. This is not the first time. This is not the first time that he done did it. But Anton is the bad guy because Anton is saying that we need to start holding people accountable, and we know who the criminals are inside of our community, but we not doing anything in order to solve for it. Okay.
Guessing he just thought this was just going to be a lucky payday. No one's home, and this is just free stuff to steal here. No, he thought wrong.
Dallas police couldn't share any information about the man in the ski mask shown in the video. They told Fox 4 today that his identity is part of the ongoing investigation. Rodriguez told us that he has not received any messages about who that man could be either.
And it's time to move at the same time. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to continue over to the show because we got to get over to the money. Latrell is in the building, says you can't be mad at something when you created the world you allow. That's a fact. I appreciate you, Latrell. Cliff is saying even the gangsters in Japan have discipline. Yakuza ain't Bloods and Crips, homie. Shout out to my people over there in Canada. Black Puddin' TV says, hey, Anton, Japanese seem to be a decent culture. However, they don't teach critical thinking until graduate school. The very disciplined people, they very disciplined people, but they don't think outside the box. Maybe we need to all be inside the box. Maybe we need to be inside the box. What is thinking outside the box? That's what I'm trying to understand. What do you mean by, what do we need to do in order to think outside the box? I'm very happy with the box that they've created. Somehow, some way, they've been able to contain and keep out all of the trash and maintain a type of culture that is really ideal for what it is that we want to raise our children, our sons and our daughters in. I don't really understand what you mean by thinking outside the box. For some reason, they smart. They technology is second to none. They manufacture some of the most advanced chips in the world. They have some of the safest cars, the cleanest streets, the best environment, the dopest culture, the most submissive women. I don't really know what y'all want them to do. Maybe we got it wrong and maybe they got it right. Maybe we got it wrong and they got it right. Maybe us thinking outside the box was probably not the box that we were supposed to be thinking outside of. Just a thought. Just a thought. I got to disagree with you on that one. Respectfully, I got to push back on you. I appreciate you for holding me down on Black Pudding. Shout out to you. Jason Lee is in the building. Shout out to Jason Lee. Says you're going to have to raise the price of the brick, Anton. $5 is too cheap for these people to get the game that you're giving. I got to do it. I got to take care of my people, though. It's important for us to be able to have these conversations. I got to keep the price low. I got to keep the price of the brick low. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you ain't got $15 to be able to get the type of game and the type of entertainment that we give inside of the Bag Chasers, and you get the link to the Discord that's attached to any of the most recent videos, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Hello? I'm sorry, who is this? Hold on one second. Who is this?
Mark Davis
From
Lamborghini at Suburban in Troy.
Oh, what's going on, Mark? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm doing well.
How's it going?
Everything's going good. Got a message from the boss the other day. Do you have a minute? I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
No, we can talk. What's happening?
Oh, not much. He said you wanted to split your 10 grand up. You wanted to put 5 on one of the.
No, I put 2 different deposits down.
Okay.
No. Okay, so what I was expecting for them, I didn't know what they were going to reveal at the last reveal. So apparently the car that they revealed at the last one was something that's coming out in 2028.
Yeah, it's an electric car.
Nah, I'm not gonna mess around with that. I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna still keep the 1 deposit for the Revelto, and then I'm gonna keep the other deposit for whatever it is that they come out next.
Okay, cool.
You know what the timeline is looking like on that?
For the, are you talking about the Huracan replacement or the Urus?
The Huracan replacement.
Huracan replacement, that'll be a 2025 model year car.
So we got some time.
We got some time, yeah.
Okay.
So that car will probably be, it will probably be shown to the public next spring because they're going to want to start taking orders early in the year to produce 2025 model year cars.
Got you. I just want to be one of the first on the list.
Yeah, you're right up close to the top. 100%.
Okay. And then what's the timeline on the Revelto?
Here, April of this year, so you were right up close to the top.
And then what about the Revelto?
Revelto, that's going to be years and years away.
All right, that's cool. I guess I don't have no choice but to wait.
That car is a long ways away. I mean, we're sold out officially. Well, Lamborghini is officially sold out of Reveltos until 2026, and so they're right now they're trying to fill 26 and 27 order slots, and we're still not even there. We probably got 50 deposits in house all the way back to 2018.
All right, that's cool. Well, I'll just stay on the list because I want mine when I get it.
Yeah, that's the thing is, here's the deal, because that's a production car, right? So they're going to make that car for probably 10 years. So it's kind of an advantage to be a little farther down because when the car first comes out, you can buy a coupe and that's it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but you know what I want.
Years from now, they'll add a Spider, and then there'll be an SV, and then there'll be an SVJ, and all these other kind of cool iterations of the car, which actually will be perfect timing for you.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Because I want to make sure that I keep cash. Well, I don't want to keep too much cash on hand because, I got a lot of different stuff that I'm building at the same time. But when it does come, because I know that when I get the call, I'll basically have to build it out and then it'll be delivered within 6 months. So.
Yeah. What kind of stuff you build?
Real estate, homes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So All right. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for calling me back.
No problem, my friend. Talk to you soon.
All right, my friend.
Have a great summer.
All right. All right. Bye. Hold on. Let me get you the face. Let me continue with the super chats. Let me continue with the super chats. Shout out to Poster Mogul says, in Philly at gas stations, the security guards have big booty body, AR-15 and shotguns. Third world Philly. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all in the building. You know me. Anton got to do it. Listen, when I get random phone calls on the live stream, I answer them on the live stream. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Poster Mogul. I appreciate you. Jason Lee in the building says, nah, us Asians voted for this. We voted for these assailants coming into our home. We good. We going to get this work too. Thank you for taking accountability. I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Dwight Bell is in the building, says, morning, Anton. This is my morning playlist while in the gym. Also, sent you 2 messages inside the Patreon, and blessings to you and the family. Thank you, my friend Dwight Bell. I appreciate you. Absolutely, positively awesome. Let's see. Anastasio Rodriguez is in the building, says, J.R. Walker and the All-Stars said it best. Shotgun shot him. For he runs away. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for the fireball. Uncle Pops says, let me see. I'm for severe consequences for choosing to commit criminal acts, death, or dismemberment. If they die, they die. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for the fireball. Marcus is in the building. Marcus says the Bay has been a true myth that Asians keep a lot of cash in the house, even in the music here. Walker Chink in the house. Asian gangs is in on it too. This is bad. This is bad. Black Button TV, what do you want to debate me about? What do you want to debate me about? Hold on. Let me pause the show for a minute. What do you want to debate me about? Tell me what you want to debate me about, and then I'll think about it. Tell me what you want to debate me about, and then I'll think about it. You don't even have a profile picture. What do you want to debate me about? What do you want to debate me about? Tell me what you want to debate me about. All right. This is why I like doing a show live. Debt Free Dad is in the building. Shout out to you. Says people don't care until it's them. A judge used to throw the book at my armed robbery clients back in the day, but only after her daughter was a victim. Yeah. Hey, somebody hold on. I gotta fix somebody real quick. So let me fix him. Woo! Sorry, DJ. We had to get you up out of here. Let's see what we got going on. Shout out to Debt Free Dad. I appreciate you. William Lucian says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. 2 Corinthians 10:4. Gotta have faith. Shout out to William Lucian in the building. I appreciate you. Amari Sigma says, who's that peeping in my window? Pow. Nobody now. Who's that peeping in my window? Pow. Fahim Jackson says, notice gunfire at the apartment complex is in Texas. They don't play down south. Also, check out rapper Sexy Red and her goals to smash dudes all next year, yet got clapped twice. Trash culture. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Wealth Building Journey says, accuracy is the new flex. Letting go ain't enough. It ain't. Get to the range. He almost got him, though. Thank God that they arrested him. Anastasio Rodriguez says, upgrade y'all doors with 4-inch screws. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Mr. Told You says, don't want no problems, y'all. I got 13 rounds of problem solved. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to rock with me. Christopher Williams says, neighbor got robbed Christmas Eve across the street. Robber's choice. It could be you anytime. Not me. Not me. Black Pudding TV sent $1 and said that they wanted to debate me. Oh, my God. I don't want nobody putting me to shame, and I'm broke out here. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Before we continue over to the show, because I got to get over to the money now, all right? I ain't got no money. That's why I be begging every day, even though you've never seen me ask anybody for anything. That's why I be begging every day. I ain't got nothing, bro. Listen, don't worry about, matter of fact, let me take my shit off. Let me take my stuff off. I ain't got nothing. You ain't got to try to debate me. I'm not going to try to prove you wrong. I'm not getting paid to debate. You got it, fam. Listen, think outside the box. You go ahead and get that. I ain't got it. I ain't got no debating for you. I ain't got no box to put you in. I think that you should think outside the box as much as you possibly can. Just make sure that you also order a box of Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description because we got to get that Teach pack. And on top of it, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat so you can see my W-2, so you can see how much I make, so you can see what my life hacks are, so you can see how much my deposits are, so you can see what my business accounts look like. You can find all of that inside of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so I ain't got nothing for you. Let's get into the next part of the show. Is there an upcoming housing crisis? Is there an upcoming housing? I don't want no smoke with nobody, fam. I just want to have a good time. I want to be entertaining. I want to give you the information that's being out there and break it down from my perspective. All right? I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. Is there an upcoming housing crisis? Is there an upcoming housing crisis? I have my own opinion of it, but let's hear what the experts got to say. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
For Real Estate Reality Check, let's bring in our A-list panel to kick it off. Redfin Chief Economist Daryl Fairweather.
Can y'all hear that? It is raining like crazy. It is raining like crazy here. I'm sure y'all can't hear it. The microphone probably not picking it up, but it is raining like crazy here, man. It is insane. And the likes is low. Hold on. Apparently, we need to go over to a Teach commercial. It's almost 2,000 people in here watching this, and the likes is at 642. What are we doing? Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We got to go to the Teach. Are we going to the Teach commercial, the throwback Teach commercial? Or y'all going to get the likes up? All right, y'all said y'all going to get the likes up. Let's continue. Is there an upcoming housing crisis? Let's hear what the experts got to say.
For Real Estate Reality Check, let's bring in our A-list panel to kick it off. Redfin Chief Economist Daryl Fairweather, Reventure Consulting CEO Nick Jurley, and Crescent Capital Chief Investment Officer Jack Ablin. Jack, I'm going
to be reading those super chats shortly. Thank you for continuing to hold me down.
Start with you. You actually just randomly, we had already planned to do this. I get this note from you. We asked you to come on not that long ago. Thanks very much. Using your math and using rates and whatever, you think that the median price of a home should be over $100,000.
Is it me or do that dude look like Jerry Springer on the right-hand side?
Less than it is right now.
Yes, and it's a pretty simple math, Brian.
That dude looked just like Jerry Springer.
And all we're doing is we're taking median incomes, which we're calculating at $77,000 roughly per year. And again, that's been going up over the last couple of years, so we want to take that into consideration.
He said the median income is $77,000. Is that household income?
Calculating a mortgage rate of about 7.5%. And then we assume that 25% of the income goes to a monthly mortgage payment. We kind of gross that up and then add another 20% for down payment. We come up with $283,000. That's substantially below the 400 plus thousand that you're showing on the screen. So I don't expect we're going to see an immediate 31% crash.
Wow.
Because like you said, those existing homeowners who have low mortgage rates are just going to stay put.
Yeah, and Daryl.
So this is what he's basically saying, right? And it's relevant. It's relevant to this conversation. He's saying, listen, we have an affordability crisis because the average household income, the average or the median household income is $77,000. So that means that when you take the top and the bottom and then the average, right? And then two people may be working, maybe one person is working, well, maybe one person is not. I know everybody's saying that they out here making $100,000. I don't know where, right? They're saying the median household income is $77,000. And based off of that and giving a 20% down payment, right? Because I know a lot of y'all like to do the 3.5%, but you're not really taking into account the fact that you're going to be paying more interest, that you're also going to have to pay PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, right? That increases the value or the amount that you're paying. And you also not taking into account a lot of y'all are paying HOA fees, the maintenance, all of this other type of stuff, property taxes, right? You're not taking that into account when we're talking about affordability. Okay, so I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. So when you talk about this, he's saying that based off of what the average or the median household income and a 20% down payment, we're calculating it actually to be a little bit above $250,000, a little bit above $250,000, which is a drastic difference from what the average household or the average purchase price of a home is, which is above $400,000. So he's saying that What's going on?
Nothing's going on with you.
What's up, baby girl? How you feel?
Good. Great.
When you coming through?
Today.
No, not today. I got a live stream tonight.
Okay, tomorrow then.
What's tomorrow? Wednesday, Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could probably do it tomorrow night or Friday.
Okay.
Where you been at?
Nothing. I've been in Puerto Rico, just hanging out. It's my birthday, my friend's birthday, everyone's birthday.
I see you been half naked out here in these streets.
Yeah, I gotta get out my nakedness before fall.
Bring a friend.
Okay.
Bring two.
If we can tomorrow, then I can. But Friday, I know my friends are going back to work.
You said you can bring a friend tomorrow, but not Friday?
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it. I'll call you after the live stream.
Okay.
All right, bet.
I want to be clear, the median home price has come down off its peak of a couple of months ago. I think it was around $430,000 or $440,000. So the trend is down. You know, I want you to comment on what Jack just said, but also here's what's bonkers. It doesn't seem to matter. If you put a decent house for sale on the market, I talked to a lot of realtors, they sell in like 3 days.
Yeah, I think what should be the right price is very different from what actually is the price right now. We have a real lack of supply, a lack of supply that has been going on for at least 5 years, but during the pandemic became extremely acute because people snatched up all the homes and now they don't want to sell anymore. About a third of homes for sale right now are new construction because there are so few existing homes on the market. And since new construction is doing quite well right now, at least, amidst these high rates, I can hope that there will be more inventory down the line. But for the time being, those prices are probably going to stay put high. Homeowners don't have a real reason to sell.
No.
So here's the key. Here's the key, right? He's basically saying if you take that $77,000 median, the affordability of a person that makes $77,000 a year is really about $250,000 home, right? But the average home is selling for over $400,000 across the nation. So then how do you then justify the idea that homes are selling for $400,000 when the average person can only afford a home that's really about $250,000? Well, therein lies your dilemma, right? Because what's happening is he's also factoring in, and this is why we have to make sure that we take in all of the factors and we take in all of the context. He's factoring in a 7% interest rate. Homes were much cheaper 2 years ago than they are today, right? Meaning that the price that you're paying in your monthly payment, not the price of the home, but the monthly payment is based off of an interest rate. that was significantly cheaper, which is why most people are not selling their homes right now. People are not selling their homes not because they don't think that their home is worth it or they don't want to move or whatever. They're staying put because they know that they're going to have to use that same money in order to buy another home, and they can't afford the interest rate that they're going to be paying, because most people factor in what their payment is, not necessarily how much they're going to be paying long term for the home. Remember, people always buy things based off of what their payment is. They don't factor in how much they're going to be paying for that home over a period of time. The reason why there will never be a housing crash in the immediate future, I do not believe that there's going to be a housing crash within the next year, the next 2 years, so on and so forth, because people are staying put in their homes unless you give them a really, really good reason to move. They're staying put in their homes because they don't want to be paying that 7% interest rate. They'd rather pay the 2.5% that they got in 2021. Let's continue.
In fact, they not only not have a reason to sell, Nick, they've got an active reason not to sell, which is, yeah, maybe I'm sitting on a bunch of equity, I'll make a fortune, but unless I'm moving to like Equatorial Guinea, I'm going to have to buy a house somewhere else, and I'm going to end up paying 7%.
Literally, I just said that.
Do you see a crash coming?
And, that's a great point, Brian. A lot of people
there will not be a crash.
However, here's the thing. There's 100 million.
There may be a correction, but as long as you have a seller's market in which homes are moving in roughly 3 days from hitting the market, meaning that there's an excessive amount of people that's willing to buy homes, but they don't have the inventory in order to support it, you will not see a crash. You will continue to see prices go up, even with the 7% interest rate. That's just my personal opinion.
In single-family homes in America, the inventory on the market's less than 1 million. So all we need actually in America to see inventory increase substantially is a little bit of distress in the housing market. And
3% back in 2020, 7% today. That's a big difference. Remember, one of the reasons why they increased interest rates is that they justified it by saying that they wanted to tamp down inflation. So they've been raising the rates.
One area I'm seeing that distress right now is with investors. Lots of investors who bought during the pandemic, whether they be for long-term rentals or Airbnbs, their properties are sitting vacant right now.
And therein lies your dilemma, is that the Airbnb people, the people that look to make an investment, but they can't necessarily get a return on that investment, those are the ones that's going to be under duress. It's not the people that's living in the homes, right? Because we still have a record low unemployment rate. It's the people that went into it and y'all let all of these gurus sell y'all on starting the Airbnb, but you truly didn't understand the cost of doing business. And so you see a lot of people's homes are sitting vacant. Nobody is vacationing because they can't really afford to. Credit cards is out of control, past over $1 trillion. Student loan debts is about to kick back in. Seasons are changing, so whatever it is that you didn't make money on in the summer, you're not going to make money on in the winter. And so as a result, the people that is feeling the pressure is the Airbnb owners and the people that investing in houses in order to make money, but they don't have any long-term renters. And so now they're going to have to either A, adjust so that they can make that payment, or B, they're going to have to sell their home, and that's the thing that's going to put more inventory, allegedly, into the marketplace.
The rent is going down as their cost of debt is going up. So a lot of these investors, like the homeowners, have said to themselves, oh, I don't need to sell just yet. But there's pressure building in the background of the housing market that I think will cause inventory to go up by quite a bit.
Nick, I'm going to go back to you, Nick, because you're making a good point. And I've been reading a lot about these Airbnbs that are now kind of being distressed sales. Can you explain a little bit more to the audience? Why would Airbnb homeowners be particularly, people who buy specifically to rent it out, they're never going to live there. Why are they being hurt more now?
It's a great question. It's all a cash flow situation and a supply situation.
Yep.
So the aggregate Airbnb demand in America is actually still pretty strong. The problem is the supply of Airbnbs, specifically in certain markets like Phoenix and Austin and Tampa, has surged out of control way more than the demand, which is now causing the revenues to go down substantially, particularly for mom and pop Airbnb owners who don't have access to all the fancy pricing tools that the...
Meaning that once you flood the market, then you have to be more competitive with other people that's in the market that's trying to compete for people that's coming in and trying to rent out homes at the same time. If you don't have a major event that's coming in, then you're going to be asked out of luck. If you don't have a major event that's coming in, then you're going to be asked out of luck. That's just the fact of the matter. Let me share with you what else is going on, because there's a tail between two markets that's happening right now.
Can we call this a rebounding market when sales are stagnating?
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, it's a good question. And we've been describing the U.S. housing market as a tale of two markets. On one hand, you have the resale market where volumes are down more than 30% still from their peak due to greater affordability challenges and a lack of inventory. On the other hand, you've got the new home market, which has been the beneficiary of that, as that lack of inventory we spoke of is actually funneling demand in towards the builders. And builders are also able to leverage their financing arms. So they've been buying down rates. So when you see someone in the resale market paying, 7.5, someone coming into the new home market is looking at 5 to 5.5. But that being said, the broader housing market, as you said, I wouldn't necessarily call it a rebound. I mean, if you look at total sales in the existing home market, which is the biggest part of the housing market and the largest source of competition for the builders, we're at about a rate of 4 million. So we're still down a long ways. I think the thing to point out is we have a situation where volumes are being depressed, but home prices are stabilizing because of that inventory situation.
So basically what they're basically trying to tell you, and let me just break it down from a C student's perspective, because they talk really fast, they use a lot of terms, but they're not really saying anything more than what I'm going to communicate to you right now. Because there's a lower supply of inventory, that's the thing that's sustaining housing prices, when in reality, people really can't afford what the housing market is telling them that they need to pay for these homes that they are now purchasing. Let me break it to you down from this perspective, right? During the pandemic, a lot of people ran out and they bought homes, because they were all at home and they thought that they wasn't going to be working from home. And so as a result, they bought homes outside of the markets where they were usually buy a home, or where it is that they had to live, work, and play, because they thought that they was going to be working from home forever because of the pandemic. B, interest rates were super duper low, incredibly low, stimulated by our presidents and the economy, because they wanted to keep money moving throughout the economy. And so as a result, the interest rates stayed low because we were in a pandemic. What that created was a market where everybody rushed out at the same time to go out and buy a house. During that time, if you were a home seller, if you were selling a home, you couldn't miss. People were paying $75,000, $100,000, $150,000 over asking price for homes. There were even people that were running to get into the real estate market as far as trying to be realtors at the same time. It created a gold rush, which then ultimately lowered inventory. And then when you combine that with the fact that they were raising rates in order to fight off inflation, it created a situation where people are afraid to sell unless you absolutely have to. And it's creating a sustained dynamic of what home prices are going to be unless you are in a very, very bad area, or you are going to get out too late, such as people that's buying homes down in Florida, especially South Florida, where they're basically at sea level and sea levels are rising on a regular basis. Homeowner insurance is absolutely being decimated down in Florida. Insurers are leaving the state in record numbers, and there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be left holding the bag down in Florida. So the dynamics of what capitalism is, it's what's creating the market that's sustaining home prices, even though the majority of people can't afford homes. They're forcing you to make an adjustment in what it is that you're doing on a regular basis in order to be able to afford these homes. You know what one of your adjustments are? Now women are seeking partners instead of husbands. Now men are seeking partners instead of wives. Because you need two home incomes in order to be able to survive in this current housing market, even if you're a renter. Because rental prices is going up also. And then to throw the cherry on top of that, you got institutional investors that's buying up all of the housing because it's the safest place to be able to put money in this market. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to continue over with the show. Abbasi says, indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for continuing to hold me down. Mike Lee is in the building. Mike Lee says, I usually can't catch a live, but I always watch the replay. I just tuned in and I got to show love. Hashtag bag chasers. If you are not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It is absolutely a phenomenal place for you to align with people that's going in the direction that you're going in. Mike Lee says, by the way, that was my first super chat ever. Respect. Shout out to Mike Lee. I appreciate you. Kahadi West says, yo, Anton, I appreciate you for letting me be on the panel the other night. Dope dude. I would love to have a one-on-one private consultation with you, though, if possible. Send me an email, Anton Daniels, 413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you scheduled, big dog. Shout out to Kahari. Really good dude. Cliff Williams says, Anton, you better be an undercover. You better not be an undercover Pookie. I will lose all faith in humanity. Now, you know Anton is about his business. Shout out to my dog, Fa Brown. Says, yo, Anton, just checking in with you in the Bag Chasers. Somebody just hit me and asked me if I was going to go to EYL's Invest Fest. I told them, nah, my mentor knows more than anybody that's going to be there. I'm cool. Shout out to you. My dog, Fa Brown, is in the building. Fa Brown was chilling with me in New York. I did a Patreon meetup in New York. That's where you get the real game. In person, I'm going to be in D.C. in October, the end of October. If you want to tap in and you want to kick it with me in D.C. in October, make sure you tap into the Bag Chasers. I don't charge anything for me to show up and kick it with my people. I just love adding value into y'all lives on a regular basis. Shout out to my dog, Fa Brown, for holding me down. Jake Fever says, housing definitely going to crash early 2026. Oh, Jesus. Thank you, Jake, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. One more thing that I want to talk about. Since we're talking about the availability of resources, since we're talking about money, since we're talking about getting to a bag, you do know that inflation is real across the board. And it's not just with housing. It's not just with food. It's not just with gas. It's not just with traveling. It's not just with interest rates. It's not just with credit cards. It's also the thing that a lot of y'all, especially my black people, value the most. And that is your Chargers and Challengers and Hellcats. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, man.
Thanks to Bidenomics, inflation now putting the squeeze on new car buyers. Unless you're willing to shell out more than $20,000, you only have one option on the market right now. But if you've got more than $100,000 to spare, you have more than 30 different models to choose from.
And if you're thinking, let's think about that for a minute. Let's take that in. I don't want to just skip over different talking points in order to try to get to the real meat. But let's take that in because we need the context before we start really having a conversation. All right? One model is available for $20,000. 32 models are now available for over $100,000 plus. I did the show the other day where I showed y'all last week that the Cadillac Escalade, the one that they just revealed, the new Cadillac Escalade, the electric one is starting at $130,000. The new Escalade starts off at 130 bands, fam. What is inflation? Let's revisit this for all of our new people that's tuning into the live stream that is not familiar with what it is that we've been doing over these last few years. What is inflation? That means that the value of your money is less and the cost of living goes up. That means that you make less money, right? Or your money stays the same, or you may get a raise. Let's say you get a 2, 3, 4, 5% raise. However, the cost of living is actually 6, 7, 8, 9%, as it has been over the last few years. Inflation is basically the value of your money going down or it not going as far, just to give you the cliff notes, right? It means that when you go to the gas station, your money doesn't stretch as far. When you get a raise and now everybody is saying that they make $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year really don't mean anything because the cost of living is going up significantly. You used to be able to buy a car. You used to be able to go to the movies. You used to be able to go out to eat for cheaper than what you going out now. That means that as the value of money goes up, the cost of living is higher. Your money doesn't stretch as far. When you buy a car now, your car payment is significantly more. Your house payment is significantly more. Food, gas, shelter. You going out on a date in order to impress these hoes is significantly more, right? And so in order for us to be able to maintain that lifestyle, then we have to have at least assets that generate revenue that allow us to be able to tamp down that inflation, or we got to continue to chase that bag and make way more money as a result of it. All right, let's continue.
Hey, I'll just purchase a second vehicle and save a few bucks. Well, think again. The average used car price is listed at $27,000. That's up 30% from pre-pandemic levels.
Do you know what it means to have something that's 30% more than what it was or what it used to be 1 to 2 years ago? 30% more. Meanwhile, you also have a record number of repossessions that's happening, meaning that people are financing cars that they can't really afford, but then they coming back into the market and they saying, listen, I can't afford that car. I'm giving it back and I need to buy another car that I can afford. So now I'm going to take the ding on my credit. But before I take the ding on my credit, I'm willing to buy a used car in order to be able to get myself back and forth to work or be able to go back and forth on that date so I can get bust down. And so as a result, now you have homes and cars that's priced significantly more than what was the number that he said on the last thing that I reviewed? He said homes are 30 to 31% more than what they're supposed to be. Same thing with cars. Inflation is impacting you across the board.
And taking into account higher interest rates on both new and used cars, a new ride for price-conscious auto shoppers might be completely out of the question.
Here, now to divvy it all up and divide it all up, talk about the numbers. His automobile expert.
Hold on, let's back up for a minute. I don't want to leave that out. Interest rates. So this is the amount of money that you paying over into the bank or whoever it is that you finance your car to, in addition to whatever you paying in principal. Okay? That means when you look at your car note and you look at your statement and you see how much is going to, y'all need to start actually looking at y'all statements. Look at your check stub, look at your statements, look at whatever it is that you're financing, right? That means that when you buy a new car, on average, your interest rate is 7.2%. Now, here's how they get you. You're going to pay less for a used car, but you're going to pay more in interest. You're going to pay less, meaning that you're going to pay something that somebody's already used. You're going to get a cheaper price for it. It's going to get the depreciation on it. But the dealers are going to make more money. The finance companies are going to make more money because they get to charge you more interest as a result of it, all right? I want you to understand how money works.
Completely out of the question.
Here, now to divvy it all up and divide it all up, talk about the numbers. His automobile expert, Mike Caudill. Mike, good to see you. So what do you make of this new market? The auto producers are pushing these EVs. American consumers, we don't want them.
Yeah, so let me divide it up into two different cases, right? You've got the electric vehicle side of the market, and then you've just got the rest of the car market. Yeah. So the average car price right now is about $48,000. I never thought in my lifetime I would see a starting price of a new car be at $48,000. The starting price of an electric vehicle, the average of an electric vehicle is about $53,000. So you take the 48 and you put the 53 together and you go, man, $50,000 for either an electric vehicle or a new car. Now, I just came away from Monterey Car Week a week ago, and we're looking at 8 cars that went for $10 million. So here,
light stunt. On the low, he hit us with the light stunt. Okay, we got it. Monterey Car Week, $10 million. That means that the top is getting richer and the middle class are the ones that's suffering. Let's continue.
What we're dealing with, guys, we're dealing with low volume and high interest in vehicles. So people want to buy these cars, but they can't afford them. And the reason that there's low volume right now at dealerships nationwide is that during COVID, obviously, manufacturing facilities were shut down. Then compound that with the supply chain issue. Now you have vehicles sitting on lots like the Ford Lightning in Detroit, where you can't actually finish the vehicle and get it out to dealerships nationwide because the parts aren't available.
There's a huge problem.
This reminds me of the Dayton market. The car market is literally a reflection of the Dayton market. I know y'all don't want to talk about it. Anton, why you keep comparing relationships to cars? Because it's literally the same thing. Most people don't qualify to be able to get a new car. Most women don't qualify for the man that they want. Most men don't qualify for the standards that women have for them, right? It's the same thing with the car market. And so what you do is you start to get a lot of used vehicles that have inflated prices that's then being sold to people that don't know that they actually getting a lemon until they actually got to live with the lemon, until they start driving a car. And they realize, oh man, this chick been buzzed down more times than that fentanyl that they got coming across the border. This chick done been stepped on more than that tranquilizer that they got in the inside of that fentanyl. The used car market is literally the exact same thing as the dating market. So now when you go out to go and get a car, you can't find anything that is not valuable enough that actually can substantiate the type of money that you put into it. So now you got to make the adjustment. It's similar to the dating market. You can't go out there and find a chick that's either A, hasn't been on OnlyFans, B, is not for the streets, C, is not Instagram clout chasing and trying to be in somebody else's DMs, or D, they don't have a kid in tow talking about they want you to be the step baby daddy. So now either you want to continue to participate in the market or you can settle down. Which one is it? Most people is choosing to forego participating in the market altogether. They don't even want to buy a car. I'm going to just stick with what it is that I have. That's why you got a lot of people saying, listen, I want to get out there, but the grass ain't really greener on the other side. The used car market is literally the exact same thing as the dating market, but let's continue.
Problem, Mike, and let's stay on top of the electric vehicles for a minute. The Biden administration's push, and this is classic industrial policy that they've lifted from communist China, to put an electric vehicle in every driveway. It's hit a snag, and you mentioned Ford. Ford recently reduced its EV production targets as supply far outpaces demand. Unsold green cars piling up in dealer lots. And if you watch, they emulating China, but China, that policy has been a disaster. It accounts for more than half of the world's EV production, but just look at this video of hundreds of electric vehicles sitting abandoned in lots across the country. The U.S. is very clearly headed toward the same problem. So they've emulated a policy that's all.
Well, she's wrong, though. She's 100% wrong. And the reason that she's wrong is because most people in China, they're manufacturing these cars, but they can't actually move the cars. The demand is still there, even though people are getting their cars repossessed, because we have better financing and better ways and creative financing in order to get people in these cars that they really can't afford, because most people buy cars based off of what their payment is and not based off of what the car actually costs. The difference is there's logistic problems in the United States of America, but there's affordability problems from a manufactured economy over in China. So she's being disingenuous because she's on Fox and she doesn't like Biden, and she's leaving out the details in the context, or maybe she just doesn't understand. But to shoot Biden a little bit of bail, obviously is completely different than what's going on in China. And that's why you got to have the understanding, because you don't want to let these people just spew talking points just because they're on the right or just because they're on the left. It's reasons and it's context to be added in these conversations.
Ultimately been a disaster. People don't want these cars.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Dagan. And here's something interesting. Last week, I had a chance to sit down with Ford's CEO, Jim Farley, and he had, it's widely publicized, he had what's called a reality check. They had their big dealer meeting in Las Vegas last week. He drove from Las Vegas.
Yeah, he did Route 66. He was trying to look at the infrastructure network. Yes, we're familiar with it. Yo, can we get some pundits on here that actually can give us some information that we don't already know, that we're not already understanding? Yes, the CEO he drove in order to get the reality check all the way down to see what it's going to be like and whether or not they got the infrastructure in order to be able to support electric cars, and we needed to understand it. We already know what you're going to say, sir. Go ahead.
From LA to Las Vegas, and actually had problems getting the Ford Lightning charged. And I sat down, I talked to him. For the first time, I saw the light bulb go off in his mind, and he said, you know, we got to figure out the infrastructure. I want to hit what you just said really fast, Dagan, about President Biden. You have to divide the electric vehicle market into 4 categories. The vehicles, and then you have to divide it into the infrastructure, the environment, and the politics. Let me start with the cars. The cars are actually fun. They're fast. They're super cool and full of technology. But then you have to take that second part. The infrastructure is just horrible. There's nowhere to charge these cars.
That's not true. The infrastructure is actually good because Tesla, the Tesla network is actually one of the most phenomenal infrastructure networks ever. Also, you got to take into account that most people charge their cars at home. Most people don't take road trips. So the context is, for people that are taking road trips that is not in a Tesla, how do you then solve for the infrastructure problem? Well, what a lot of manufacturers are doing is trying to both build out the infrastructure while also broker deals with Tesla in order to be able to use their charging network to make sure that they can make it across country when they want to do a road trip in an electric vehicle. I do road trips. I've done it. I've drove from here to Pittsburgh, and I've drove from here to Chicago, all the way down to Gary, whatever, right? I've done it all the time. But you can't gas up your car at home, and that's the difference between an ICE-powered vehicle, which is internal combustion engine, and an electric vehicle. Most of the time, I just plug my car in. As soon as I get to the crib, in the morning time, I unplug it, and I be able to go back and forth, and I haven't really actually tapped into a charging network in a very, very long time. I have not stopped at a gas station in a very, very, very long time, right? Also, when I get to wherever it is that I'm going to go, in most large major urban cities, you got somewhere to charge it. They let you charge it for free in the gas station. In the parking lots. They let you charge it for free at the job. You can plug it up right into your building. And so it's a completely different problem. And so what he's talking about is the infrastructure problem as far as getting to and from long distances. He's not talking about local and getting around that way, which is what 98% of most people are using their cars for. So this is a disingenuous argument, but I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to sell it against Biden actually building an infrastructure that allows for people to be more easily sold on buying an electric vehicle. Okay, let's go.
Unless you have adapted your garage to charge those vehicles. The environment, I'm going to throw that out the door. It takes a whole lot to produce these vehicles, and we have no idea what we're going to do with the batteries when we're done. The last, you've heard that term weaponized, and I'm going to use it. I don't care. The White House has weaponized the world of EVs. Jim Farley said, look, we want to offer people choice, and that's going to be the deciding factor. 52% of Americans are researching, only 7% are buying.
Mike,
no, but only 7% of cars being offered is electric. It's another disingenuous argument. As a matter of fact, what he's not saying is that the Model Y is the world's number one selling car, and it's the world's number one selling car. The Model Y sells more cars than any car in the world. The Tesla Model Y. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's the number one selling vehicle in the world. The electric vehicle market is the fastest growing market in the world and in the United States of America. Just a few years ago, it was less than 2%. Now it's at 7%. It's the biggest growing market in the world. Come on, man. Listen. We're not going to continue to be disingenuous. We're going to tell the facts. We're going to tell the facts. Somebody said, no, they're not. Okay, well, let's go and look it up. It's the beauty in the internet. We can go and look it up. Best-selling vehicle in the world. Let's pull it up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got here. Best-selling vehicle in the world. Tesla Model Y is the best-selling vehicle for the first time, an electric vehicle. Specifically, the Tesla Model Y is now the world's best-selling vehicle according to analyst data published by Motor One. The Tesla Model Y has surpassed the Toyota's RAV4 and Corolla models to become the top global sales rankings in the first quarter of 2023. So there you go. Anton, it's the Corolla. Why are you lying? Anton, it's the Corolla. Why are you lying? It's the look at this other person. It's the Toyota Corolla. You sure about that? You sure about that? See, this is how you know the people in the chat just be talking. They just be, just gonna keep on talking and whining. I'm going to continue to complain and whine and do all of this other type of stuff. Well, guess what? Google is your friend. Go and look up the fucking stats before you start typing in the chat, because then you're going to look stupid. Good Jesus Christ, help us. Help us. Help us. Auto Week. See that? Best-selling car in the world. Right there. That's it. Well, they said you did one Google search. No, I just pulled up the stats for y'all because I had already stated it. I had already stated it before I pulled it up. I just used one source in order to justify it. I already knew this because I had already did the research because I'm on the analyst calls in order to understand what the best-selling cars in the world is. Shout out to Kahari. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to hold us down. Mike Lee says, straight gems. I appreciate you. AJ Wise says, I'm driving my two paid vehicles till the wheels fall off. Shout out to AJ Wise. Brock says, pass the love offering. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Continuing to run up that check. Thank you for everybody that continues to hold us down. Everybody that continues to hold us down, I appreciate you. You guys are absolutely, positively awesome. Absolutely, positively awesome. You guys are awesome. Bearded Dapper Services. Let me acknowledge your super chat also. Bearded Dapper Services says, what up, AD? It's Mr. Dex from the Bearded Dapper Services in Brooklyn. And why? I see you, fam. Keep doing an amazing job. Thank you, my friend. Absolutely. Look. QBZ says the Corolla and the F-150 are the best-selling cars. Let me debunk this really quickly. So here's the context. The F-150 is not the best-selling car, first of all. It's the best-selling vehicle, and it's not the F-150. It's the F-Series, which also includes the F-150, the F-250, the F-350, and so on and so forth. And what these manufacturers do, and this is how you know people don't really understand the auto industry, and so this is why you guys need to research and understand it before you invest in something. If you look at it, it's not the F-150, it's the F-Series, and it's only the best-selling in America, okay? When you talk about the Toyota Corolla, you're talking about the different models that they then change, remanufacture, and rename. And so, for example, they call it the Cross, and it's a completely different vehicle in another country, right? And so what manufacturers like to do in order to maintain that sales crown, they use all of them and they combine them together, even though they're completely different vehicles, in order to say, no, we still hold the sales crown. When you talk about worldwide and you talk about one specific model itself, it is the Model Y. It is the number one selling vehicle in the first quarter, and it is projected to be the number one selling vehicle in the entire world for the rest of 2023. Now you get it? Now you understand why we have to use the context? It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. When you start to deep dive into the articles and you realize that they're adding other models in order to try to justify maintaining a sales crown so they can sell you on a narrative in order to continue to inflate their stock price, then you get it. Then you understand it. Then you know how it is that they're moving a little bit differently. You guys need to do your research. You need to really understand the context. The F-Series is the best-selling vehicle in the United States of America, not the F-150, and it's not in the world. And so when you deep dive into these articles and you actually start to do your research, not just what it is that they're saying, not just what's being reported, but you can actually add the context into the conversation. The Tesla Model Y is the number one selling vehicle in the not in the United States, but in the world, worldwide, and it's substantiated by how many units that they moved in the first quarter of 2023. I don't really understand what y'all trying to figure out. What is there to argue about? Make sure you get that tea, Chanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I love you. I appreciate you. But that's also why I chastise you. Because I need you to start understanding how money works. And you never, ever, ever invest in something that you do not fully understand. And that's why you need to get the context. And you use multiple different articles from credible sources in order to cross-compare so that you can make an informed decision. All right? Okay. Okay, Pumpkin? All right. Make sure you tune in tonight. Tonight, I'm live streaming on the other channel, and you know I'm going to be talking about. You know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about you. I'm going to be talking about you. Make sure you tune in tonight to the Anton Daniels channel, 9:30 Eastern. 9:30 Eastern. We are going to be going live on the Anton Daniels channel tonight. I love you guys. I appreciate you, but you know I need you to do me one more favor. Hey, tell these big media companies I want my 30 million. Come and tap into the Millionaire Morning Show so we can get this check ran up. I want my 30 million. Make sure you tap into the Millionaire Morning Show. But I need y'all to do me one more favor before we tune in tonight. On the Anton Daniels channel. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. We love you. We appreciate you. We absolutely are going to get to this bag. But before we get to the bag, I need y'all to do me one favor. Share this with your family and friends. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm on your way out the door. I love you. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.